Satnam.
Satnam.
Mata Mandir.
Thank you.
It's an honor to interview you today for 3HO Europe. Would you like to introduce yourself to us, listeners?
Sure. Yeah, my name is Mandir Singh. I've practiced this lifestyle, Kundalini Yoga. Became a Sikh very young. I was about, I think, 18 when I started to practice back in the early 70s. And I'm a musician, teacher of something we call Naad Yoga, the yoga of sound. And that's what I've specialized in, that type of yoga. And made a lot of music in my life and done a lot of teaching, been to many countries and had a wonderful life in this lifestyle. So I'm very grateful that you invited me to come.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you started teaching in the 70s?
No, I started learning in the 70s, let's say, yeah.
And when you started teaching, can you tell us about your first or very first classes, how that was?
Yeah, the first class I ever taught was in a university in Washington, D.C. I was connected with the ashram there. And the university wanted someone to come and teach a class at the university. It was some kind of accredited thing. And I walk into a room, I had no previous knowledge of the college or the people. I walk into a room and it's like this long, very long room with about 120 people, students there. And I wasn't prepared for such a big, it was one of my first classes I ever taught.
120 people.
Yeah, and there were tables and chairs. It was not set up for yoga. That was challenging. I hadn't thought of it in years. So I had to, quickly I set up a couple of tables and I got up on the tables. And because I could barely see the people in the back, and I just had to teach very basic yogic things and some breathing and some simple exercises and standing on top of this table and shouting to the people. There was no microphone. So that was my first class. It was an interesting challenge. Yeah.
And did you continue teaching students?
Not really, no. That was kind of they just wanted a guest teacher to come in. And I didn't really start teaching a lot till the 90s, actually. Then I became very active teaching in a teacher's training program that began. So I would always teach the sound and mantra part, about how to chant, the effect of chanting on the endocrine system of the body and the brain chemistry, and how chanting actually works to affect a human being. So this was my specialty, and I began to teach in many places this sound.
Yeah, because sound and mantra is an important aspect of Kundalini Yoga.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit more about that and how it works?
Yeah, sound is very fundamental to the universe and to human beings in particular. Or basically, human being is a frequency. We have frequency, and our frequency can be very low and slow, or it can be high and elevated. And in Kundalini Yoga and Naad Yoga, the practice is to elevate the frequency, become more subtle, tune into the higher frequencies within ourselves, within and without, and to practice that as a meditation is the idea. So we practice what are called mantras. Mantras means the wave in the mind. That's what man means mind, tra means a wave. So we're creating waves in the mind. Because we humans, the problem we have is that from birth, and before birth even, we start to get patterns established in ourselves. Some can be positive, but some can be very negative. Negative self-image, negative relationships with prosperity, with other people, many patterns that develop that keep repeating in our life. And so the idea with mantra yoga is to go beyond those patterns, create new waves, new patterns in the mind that are positive and can send us on a different path and free ourselves from the subconscious mind. That's the idea.
It sounds like it's a beautiful, subtle practice for yeah, the journey into those higher frequencies.
Yeah, it's in the end it comes to listening. We do a lot of chanting and meditation, singing, which have very great effects on the body. The vagus nerve gets stimulated every time we sing and chant together and meditate and practice long, slow, deep breathing. All these things are very powerful for the parasympathetic nervous system and the vagus nerve. And we also learn how to listen, how to consciously listen and become aware of the more subtle frequencies that are available for a human to hear. And this is very elevating practice. For me, has been the focus of my whole life, basically. Yeah. And also creating music, then using those frequencies and special sounds and combinations of sounds that are available to us as humans to elevate ourselves and to put that to music and to share that with other people through the music world. So all those things together are considered Naad Yoga, the yoga of sound. Yeah.
And we all have one instrument, that's our voice. Do you use your voice mostly, or you play a lot? I
play a lot of instruments. Almost anything with strings I can play, and also drums, tabla. I've studied many Indian instruments. But guitar is still one of my favorite, maybe my favorite. I like stringed instruments a lot. But of course, all of those instruments are basically to back up the human voice. Human voice is the most powerful way that we have of creating sound to affect our consciousness. It can heal ourselves, and it can bring us to a different, how would I say, different frequency of life, basically.
And when you say you can heal yourself with your voice, can you tell us a bit more about it?
Yeah, I mean, I have a personal story. I don't know how much of that I should tell, but I was basically diagnosed with cancer when I was in the States, and I went in, and they said you probably have cancer. They couldn't seem to diagnose it exactly, and they wanted me to do all this testing and things. And I don't know. We're in Europe now. I don't know if you know, in the States, medical costs are just incredible. They're just so expensive, and insurance is very, very expensive. So it's very hard. The medical system there is very broken. So they wanted me to take all these tests and do all this stuff, and they didn't seem to be very clear on it was going to cost a lot of money, and I knew I was moving to Europe where healthcare is a little more sane. So I said, well, I'm not going to do all of this stuff here. I'm moving in a few months, so I just decided I'm going to sing to the cancer. And
you expressed that. You said that.
I said it to them and to myself also. Yes. And I had just written a book, or was in the process of finishing a book about Naad Yoga. And in that, researching the book, I discovered a experiment in France where they sang the frequencies of notes, just the major scale. And it was a very positive experience back in the 90s, and they actually could shrink and found that those notes within 9 minutes with the human voice could destroy cancer cells in a petri dish. They would start to disintegrate. And I was very fascinated by that study, and I remembered a meditation that I was given by my teacher that had the same notes of the scale, but connected with a mantra as well, Brahm Sargam it's called. And so I just started doing that for mostly 31 minutes a day, sometimes more, sometimes a little bit less, but I did it for 6 or 8 months. Then I came to Europe, and I actually entered into the medical system. Went to some doctors, and they all, we have to do MRI, we have to do this and that. And so I did some of the testing, and they were still inconclusive. And so then I started thinking, well, I can't, what they were proposing, I didn't think it was the right thing to do, to like start cutting and burning and doing all the laser treatments and all this stuff. It didn't seem the right thing to do. So I went on some extreme fasting, what we call extreme sattvic diet, eating only very fresh foods, no processed foods at all, no sugar, cut out sugar altogether. And I kept doing that singing meditation, and had some tests done, and then did that whole process. About 3 months I really went intensely into extreme diet and extreme sound frequency, kind of self-treating. And I did some acupuncture too. And at the end of that 3 months I went in for more tests, and the organ that had been expanding and so forth had shrunken by 20%. And I had no symptom, all the symptoms that I had gone, and I had no symptoms of cancer or anything. So I felt in myself, my experience is that there are many ways to heal the body, and sound frequency, penetrates everything. And so it's perhaps one of the most powerful treatments that we can do. But I think it hasn't been explored. That study that I looked at in France had never been followed up. I couldn't find any research that had followed up that, which I thought was an amazing experiment. So.
Well, that's a wonderful example of how, the things we use in Kundalini Yoga can help you heal. Yes, the
absolutely.
Combination of things too.
Yeah, a combination of things.
And things that we all have at hand. That
Yes.
we can do.
Yes.
Without any money or experience.
Yes.
That we can do. Yeah.
I believe the body and mind also has, and we have everything, all the tools we need to heal. I mean, the medical system is good for certain things, but I think they misunderstand a lot. And
so, when listening to your story, what can you advise? What can you tell people to do, like today, if you're feeling unwell? Let's call it unwell. What would your first advice be from your personal journey, from this personal experience?
My advice would be to get on a very clean diet, first of all, to cut out all this industrial food and processed food and everything, just completely cut it out. As they say, anything with a barcode, don't eat it. and also cut out all sugars, and just really clean up the diet. And we have to eat less. In the yogic tradition, fasting is a very positive thing to do. Yogi gave us so many fasts to do back in the early days, and then for 30 years I kind of forgot about them. And then when I had this problem, I thought, okay, I'm going to go back and study those teachings again. I remember one, he said, we have the saying in America, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. And we always thought it meant, well, in the midst of all your meals and everything, you eat an apple, this is a healthy thing. He said, no, it means just eat one apple. That's all you eat for that day. And do that 3-4 days in a row. That's a proper fast, because it keeps your systems moving, but it resets all the insulin system and the sugar system in the body, and it just resets the body to function properly. We eat too much and we eat too often. So the first thing I say is eat less. Eat less often.
And if we would want to learn from you, can we follow you? Can we learn from you as a student? Do you teach?
I teach primarily, like I say, I teach Naad Yoga, which is yoga of sound. I don't really teach, although I've thought of doing it now to guide people through fasting and healthy diets and things. But I teach in many places. I don't really have a website at the moment. I have a Patreon page getting set up. I have some YouTube things.
Well, you're here today at European Yoga Festival, and I've met you here for many years.
Yes.
So this is one of the places.
Yes, the 3HO festivals I teach at, and the teachers training programs I teach in, and people can find me if they want. I'm kind of my music's up there on the web,
on
and
Spotify too.
Spotify, yes. I don't have very good marketing, I must say, so I don't have a big.
We can do a podcast about marketing as well. It's better for you. And how do you see the future for Kundalini Yoga, for Naad Yoga, maybe for the fasting you were talking about?
Well, the way I see it, first I would say the way I see the world at the moment, the world is is in a pretty sorry state, in my opinion. And most of the systems seem broken. The medical system, certainly in America, is very broken. Europe, also in Italy, where I'm living at the moment, is also it's overloaded. The doctors are super stressed. They have no time. They don't have time to spend with people, and they don't seem that. Anyway, I don't have to go into it, but it's not serving the people that well, the medical systems. And the politics all over the world are just, there's no real leadership anymore, I find. And then wars are creeping up again, education systems.
The new leadership look like in this medical world?
New leadership would look to, and this is not like a new concept, but look to preventative medicine. Things like the technology we hold in Kundalini Yoga is so powerful to teach people how to breathe properly, to breathe long, slow, and deep. Immediately resets the immune system. Learning chanting and also long, deep breathing affects the vagus nerve, which is the main nerve of the body, and can keep a person in a state of neutrality all the time, so that they're not reacting and have anxiety all the time. So the vagus nerve is super important, and almost everything we do in Kundalini Yoga stimulates the vagus nerve, and this is very primary, fundamental to health. Not that much recognized in the medical world still. And when they do talk about the vagus nerve, they're trying to make a machine that will stimulate it, but cold showers stimulate it, chanting stimulates it, singing stimulates it, long deep breathing stimulates it. So people have the ability to do all of these things for themselves at no cost. And if the world understood this and practiced it, the medical costs would go way, way down.
Yes. Yeah.
So the 3HO lifestyle, the Kundalini Yoga, the Naad Yoga, is really the answer to a lot of problems. But only a few very dedicated people practice it, and the world at large still, I always say it's the best kept secret in the world, Kundalini Yoga.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your dedication, all those decades.
Well, I only do it because of what it's done in my life, and all the positive things it's done.
Well, I think that makes a great teacher. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay. So when we talk about Naad Yoga, we talk about using your voice as an instrument of healing yourself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is it possible to show us, to let us hear how this works for you, or just a one step in the right direction?
Yeah, I can show a very simple chant exercise. Yeah. So the idea is that whatever we vibrate in our central core, which we in the yoga, there's terms for these, but it's a central energy channel of the body that radiates out through the not only the vagus nerve and the nervous system, but through the energy system of the body. We call it the Shushmana, Ida, and Pingala, and the nadis. This is the energy channel. So whatever we vibrate in our center core, that affects every cell in the body through the system. So one very simple practice to do is the bass tone of the Indian music scale, actually. It's just sa. It's a very simple mantra, a very simple syllable, very simple human sound to make. And it has a meaning. It means the totality of infinity. The universe is infinite. Even science now recognizes that they never can find the end of the universe. It's an infinite creation. And sa actually means that infinity. So the idea is to vibrate those vibrations of infinity inside of us and create this powerful wave in the mind that connects our mind with the infinite mind. And just that connection right away is a super healing, powerful thing. So the way to do it is to just simply sit with a straight spine, and we take a nice deep breath. And usually we have like an instrument behind it to give like a bass tone, and there's a way to do it really nicely. Here I have no tools, so I'll just do it a cappella, as we say. And take a deep breath. Just like that, just to meditate on sound and listen to that sound as we create it is very powerful, just simple meditation to do.
Yeah, and I can feel it immediately.
Immediately it brings peace of mind, it brings a balance to the body. And yeah, it just feels good to do it.
This is what we want.
Yes, I mean, everybody wants to just be happy and be contented in life, I think. And just this simple sound brings that contentment just immediately when you do it. And it's so powerful because you're using your breath, which we need to live and so forth, but you're using it to create this really one-pointed frequency that just goes direct to infinity. So it's just fantastic, simple meditation.
Beautiful. So when we're in a Kundalini Yoga class, we chant, we sing, and for many people it's a bit awkward in the beginning.
Yeah.
But can you maybe explain what happens and how this works, and even how it might make you feel when we do sing?
Right. So how it works, I mean, it's a very scientific basis to the entire practice. We have 8 different places we create language and sound from in the human body. I probably don't have to go into them, but you know, it's the air passage of the body, the back of the throat, the upper palate has 84 meridian points that the tongue plays on, and the lips, when the lips touch, that also activates different things in the brain. So these create, especially consonants, create a little explosion. Basically, we make a block, like when the tongue touches behind the teeth, or we constrict the back of the throat to make like a ga sound or a ka sound. It's constricting, and then it's releasing that constriction, which is creating like a electrical energy burst, which is channeled, especially in the upper palate, up into the thalamus gland, hypothalamus, which all affects the pituitary and pineal gland. And when those glands all start to work in concert with one another, then the whole endocrine system starts to come into balance, and in yoga we say the amrit starts to flow. And so this is that incredible feeling when we sing along Sat Nam after class, after a beautiful class, then with lots of singing and working on the navel point, and then you sing this long Sat Nam and you feel the vibration it just fills your body with feeling of peace and of fulfillment, of contentment. And so it's basically brain chemistry. In Naad Yoga, we learn how to basically address and talk to the brain. There's a term called Naad Namodan Rasa. Rasa refers to the chemicals of the brain, because the brain is not wired like, there's some nerves in it, but it's not wiring, it's mostly chemicals and fluids that sit in different parts of the brain. And so we learn so Naad means the sound, through sound. Namodan means to talk to it or to address it. Naad, Namodan, Rasa. Rasa is those juices, those chemicals, the essence basically. Rasa in India means basically juice. It's like the essence of a fruit. You can say rasa is the juice of the fruit. So the essence of the brain, of the mind. Essence of a human is the brain chemistry. Yeah. And so in Naad Yoga we learn how to talk to the brain chemistry basically, and how to stimulate it. It's basically a drugstore. So if you need more serotonin, you need peace in your life, you learn how to chant and speak to the brain to produce this. If you need energy and strength, and then we have mantras to create this on a molecular level in the body through sound. Would you say that any mantra does this, or is there like 1 or 2 powerful mantras you can They all have, mention? Every mantra has a very powerful effect. Om is with that very powerful. Sound, yeah. Because we're constricting the back of the throat to make it, we're bringing the energy there, and then we bring it into what's called the nasal conch, a space behind the nose. And when you bring that sound from here up into the nasal conch and you chant, it basically massages the entire brain, completely balances the brain. And that's how we often use that mantra to tune in and set the space for ourselves to teach or to practice. And so that's one of the most powerful, simple mantras to do. Om. 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 Yes. Yeah. Thank you. My Sat Nam and my Om will never be the same again. Mm-hmm. Knowing what actually happens physically. Yeah. And I could demonstrate that too. This is the Sa, it's kind of similar in a way. So basically you take the breath again and you create the sound. It's like an NG sound, but it's like back here, no, no. If you say like NG, no, you can feel it right at the throat, what we call the throat chakra, the lotus of the throat, it's called the throat chakra. And this sound very much stimulates that point. But then in this mantra, you also then want to bring it up into the what we call the nasal conch. It's a little space shaped like a conch shell behind the nose. And you produce that sound here and you bring it up and you have to find the space. When you're chanting it, you can kind of move it around until you just find that space to let that sound vibrate and sit in. And then you hold it there. And the more you do it, the more easy it is to find that space and to make that connection. And you can feel the whole brain is just vibrating from it. And anybody who's experiencing depression or brain drain or stress, just a few minutes of chanting Om like that will just clear it.
Can we hear your Om?
Sure. Okay.
Beautiful. I can hear what you say, the playing with the finding the right connection between them.
You can move it, you can move the vibration, so you have to find just that spot.
Yeah.
And of course, if you sit and do it for 5, 6, 7 minutes, then you get into like the zone and you can really meditate. It probably to a normal person might sound very like weird, strange, but that's what it is. It's who cares?
Well, I think many people have discovered that things that we found weird are things that will actually help us.
Yeah.
So,
And we get too serious as adults too, so we should do also things that are weird and childlike.
And get playful and
get
enjoy.
playful with sound and learn again the joy of singing.
Yeah.
Because singing I've talked to classical singers before, and sometimes they say, I had to stop because it was so stressful. And I think, I have no experience of stress in singing. And if it causes stress, then it's a strange approach to music.
So what would you say to someone like that from your Naad practice?
Yeah, I would take them right back to that sa, that sound I did in the beginning, and say, just chant sa, totally relax, sit straight, sit in a meditative position, and just vibrate the sa in a very relaxed way. And that's in Indian classical music and the music training that we do, that's meant to relax your voice so you find your authentic voice. Yeah. So your real voice as your authentic self. So there's no stylistic thing put on it. There's no, you're not trying to copy someone else. It's just your frequency will come out very pure. And so a classical singer, it may take quite some time. And I would it's like fasting. Yeah. Just take away all the extra stuff.
All the clutter.
Yeah,
yes.
All the clutter, and just go to the very basic and learn how to relax in that basic, and then your authentic voice can come through and singing can again become a joy. Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful, thank you. Waheguru. Yeah. So we're here at the European Yoga Festival, and you launched a book. You wrote a book and you launched it here at the festival. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, it's basically a collection of all the things about Naad Yoga that I've studied and practiced and experienced in 50 years of practice. And the book is called simply Naad Yoga, the Yoga of Sound. And it has a nice wolf on the cover, because I always feel like wolves put themselves so totally focused into the sound they make. When they call to each other in the middle of the night, to the full moon and so forth. And it's such focused, etherical sound. It's such a beautiful sound. And so I put the wolf there as an example of how to chant. Yeah. So it's, that book is just launched. It's an ebook on Amazon, as well as now it's available in physical form as a book. And we have now an Italian translation that's been launched also in Italy. So.
Can you repeat the title for us?
Yeah, it's called Naad Yoga, the Yoga of Sound.
Naad Yoga, the Yoga of Sound.
By
on
Mandir
Amazon.
Singh Khalsa.
By Mandir Singh Khalsa.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We'll
Welcome.
find it.
Yes, good. Okay. Thank you.